We're on the 10th hole of the south course. It's a par 4, and we found ourselves in the bark chips on the left side. What I'm going to do when I execute this shot, I'm going to move the ball a little bit back in my stance to ensure a good contact, and I'm also going to hover the ball over the bark chips. If I would ground my club at address and the loose soil would cause the ball to move, I will be assessed a penalty, so I am going to hover this club over the back of the ball. Let me take a shot for you. I just made that.
I mean, this guy, you could tell him there's an earthquake coming, and he'd be like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "I just made that." Chris, great shot, man. Get excited about it. What's he like?
Oh, he's one of the more influential people I've ever worked with. That's how he is all the time. He's so conscientious about everything. And he came back and he told me, he said, "Yeah, I hooped it on this one." I said, "You got to be kidding me." So that's very much like Chris is, and I'm glad he did that. We'll never forget it.
I mean, I'm sure he came home just raving about it.
No, that's not him at all.
You ever made one off the bark chips?
No, but you can put some pretty good spin on it off that bark chips if you hit it right.
Good to know.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
We'll get that tip maybe the next time
Maybe
around.
next time.
There are some situations on the greens that are interesting, and unlike most golf courses in America, a double green situation. Why don't you explain what we'll run into out there?
Yeah, the 3rd and 5th hole both share a green, and where they share it is the back of the 5th green and the far right side of the 3rd green. So it's a really interesting situation, because if you hit the ball, if they put the pin back on the 5th hole, which they will one day, I'm quite sure, the ball could go all the way down to the 3rd green and have a very, very difficult putt back up the green if they choose to putt it. So it's an interesting situation. You can't put a back pin on number 5 and a right pin on number 3, though. So that's a good place to hang out if you're going out to see the tournament this week. The 11th and 17th greens are a shared green, but they have a bunker right in the middle of the green that you could go on either hole depending on the pin placement. So it's going to be a pretty interesting week, and those two greens are where a lot of action will be happening.
Yeah, the action comes early and late in the round. I'll let you explain that. We have 3 par 5s in the last 4 holes. You're even borrowing a hole from the North Course.
Yeah. The opening 5 holes, Kelly, have 3 par 4s that are 1, 4, and 5 are fairly short for these guys. They're under 400 yards. Most of them will be hitting wedges, 9-iron maybe, that kind of thing. The closing par 5s, number 16 could be the pivotal hole. It's a very interesting golf hole with water on the right and bunches of trouble on the left, rough, and all kinds of other things on the left side. So that could be the pivotal hole for those guys who think they can reach it.
We could see eagles galore coming down the stretch. You never know who's going to win this championship. The 5th major of the year, the JELD-WYN tradition, the Reserve Vineyards and Golf Club. And we can't thank you enough, the Director of Instruction, Steve Birch, for coming on our show and sharing with us and letting us know about the week ahead. And your tips were valuable as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. And we'd also like to thank Chris Rogers for his tips. Have fun out there this week. Thank you at home for watching. We'll see you next time on Academy Live.
If you're having troubles with your game, see your local PGA professional. The PGA of America, making your game better, making golf a better game.